This is interior designer Stephen C. Adamko, and this is episode number 15. On the Interior Design Beat podcast, you will always find candid commentary on various interior design subjects and topics, including the good, the bad, and the ugly. Telling you like it really is, giving you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so you don't have to hope you are lucky in any type of interior design situation. Once again, my name is Steve Adamko, and I'm dedicated to giving you a healthy dose of interior design commentary, critique, interpretation, and analysis. The Interior Design Beat is the heartbeat of interior design podcast. It's hosted and produced by yours truly, who is also the owner and founder of Spectrum Interiors, established in 1982 in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Spectrum Interiors is all about skillful, knowledgeable, and passionate interior design. The Interior Design Beat podcast is all about excellence. Average and mediocre gets kicked to the curb. Oh yeah, the substance and mindset here is that when love and skill work together, expect a masterpiece. All right, folks, enjoy the rest of this music as we get ready to talk about the 10 pivotal roles of a great interior designer. Okay, welcome to podcast number 15. And we're going to be talking about the 10 pivotal roles of a great interior designer. Now, understanding these roles will help you decide if a particular interior designer is going to be right for you. So let's start out with number 1. A great interior designer is a strategist. Now, for every one of these roles, I could say with every sentence it's applicable to, I could say he or she, he or she, he or she. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use he, okay? Because I'm he. And the other thing is there's a lot of women in interior design, so I'm going to use he just to be different. So when I say he, that means he or she, okay? Just wanted to get that straight. All right, number 1, strategist. A strategist helps you decide the best way to get to your aesthetic destination. How to maximize your resources so that what you do is the most profitable aesthetically, functionally, and monetarily. He is the master of the little things, yet he never loses sight of the big picture. The great designer will know right away if you are muddled in your thinking. A good designer tells you so and helps you to create a more focused and in-tune design solution. The bad designer just follows your lead and asks for his money promptly before the disastrous design results get tabulated. Now, another aspect of the strategist via the dictionary and Wikipedia are this. A strategist is a person skilled in planning action. Okay, Wikipedia talks about a strategist is a person with responsibility for the formulation and implementation of a strategy. Strategy generally involves setting goals, determining actions to achieve the goals, and mobilizing resources to execute the actions. Well, those are all aspects of creating a great design. You want to do it in a strategic fashion. It's very much like a true leader. That's what a strategist is. They are a true leader. Now, according to the dictionary, a strategist is a person skilled in planning action. And according to Wikipedia, a strategist is a person with a responsibility for the formulation and implementation of a strategy. A strategy generally involves setting goals, determining actions to achieve the goals, and mobilizing resources to execute the actions. So you've got to be good as far as a thinker and also as a visionary. Number 2, tactician. A good designer not only sees the big picture, but more importantly, examines the relative impact of all the smaller components to make sure each part of what he envisions helps to create the optimum environment for the client in terms of the proper look and ambiance. A good designer knows that everything must help, or there's no point in having it as a part of the composition. And this is very much like music, like orchestrated music. Everything has a proper placement, pitch, tonality, sequence, rhythm, transition, point, counterpoint, all very important. Nothing is too big or too small to have a creative part to play in the whole creative portrayal of the ultimate environment for you. Number 3, conceptualizer. A great designer helps you develop a basic concept of what you need and what you really want. But even more significantly, he works to discover who you really are and what you are trying to accomplish. A great designer realizes that the best concepts are about you, the client, and not about the designer or signature style or signature look that other designers may stamp on everything and on everyone they work with. He wants to hear from you the right information in response to his skillful questions about you and your environment and what you want. And he will give you what you want if what you want is focused on you and the look and ambiance that you want to achieve. Everything begins with a great concept. You can't have anything without first bringing a concept into play. You've got to have a concept. Number 4, master of timing, or should I say a master of 2 different kinds of timing. How long a project takes to conceptualize and create, and the best time for launching it, and especially in sequencing the actual design production. His job is to remind the client how long each step and task takes to make sure that each task is allotted the necessary time and not rushed, so that nothing is compromised in the final realization of your dream. A very good example of this is a redesign or redoing of an old country club. It was 125 years old or somewhere in that neighborhood at the time. And as so happens in these kind of situations, there's always a board or a group of people. Sometimes it can be a dozen people who are on the committee trying to make sense of everything and trying to, have maybe their ideas involved. But that's where the concept comes into crystallizing how something should be handled. And in this case, it was everybody was trying to rush the architects, the craftsmen, the contractors, the GC, the general contractor were trying to rush to get this done at a certain time. Well, I realized that would be faulty thinking. You can't rush perfection, if I can use that word in this case. So I had to bring my concept ideas and my strong belief that we've got to do this right once the first time because they're going to be looking at this for many years to come. So we don't want to rush craftsmen in order to execute the design the way it needs to be executed. In other words, let's put it this way. You don't necessarily do a rush job on a Rolls Royce, and you don't do it in a country club either. So I had to basically flat out tell them that they're going to have to back off and extend the time of completion for this. And so I'm pretty persuasive, and I can very accurately and precisely substantiate why we need to do certain things and when and how they need to be done. Because I have that orchestrator's concept of the overall project along with all the little tiny bits and pieces and parts that go into it. As it turned out, everything came out just the way it should, and they were awful glad that they took the extra time to do it right. Number 5 is damage control specialist. And I guess it kind of relates to the one that came prior to this, is that if you don't slow down, so to speak, in order to speed up, you are going to be in damage control. So you've got to take the proper time and you can't rush things. That's where the problems enter in. You don't want to overdo what it takes, but you have to be also balanced in your thinking about how long something should take. Because most people have a less than ideal or realistic knowledge of how long something takes. They all say, oh, it shouldn't take that long. When the real pro is the one that really knows how to do it, knows how long it takes. And most people will find out if they're really professional about something and fastidious about doing it, that it tends to take more time than what you think. And especially when you're doing a job that's never been done before or is a unique situation, a golf club or a house or a bank, they can all be the same, but each one of them is still distinctly different. Just like children in a family. They both have the same parents, but they are very unique and distinctive from each other. Even if they're twins, they're still unique and have their own personality that is expressed. So back to the damage control specialist. Being objective, the designer, the great designer, can assess things without bias. He knows what is superior and what isn't. He knows why a product or service is really worth investing in or not, and why other products and services might be better. Face it, most products and services are not always the best of their kind. That's where an experienced designer comes in. He can help you in choosing and selecting the right things, the appropriate things. He knows what to emphasize and how to emphasize it. A good designer is the master of positive accentuation. Number 6 is wordsmith. One of the things I also excel in is being accurate in my description and painting a word picture. So being a wordsmith, the job of the master designer is to select descriptive words that will encapsulate what you want to achieve in the overall design scheme, as well as to create and achieve an integrated look with the right ambiance. A good designer is acutely aware of the subtleties of language and how to describe what you want with a proper lifestyle or mission statement in order to use it as a measuring stick and guide for each and every decision that is made, so that what is described at the beginning is what you ultimately get. Well, this is one of the things that I do that separates me from a lot of designers, because I know how to capsulize, crystallize a vision and put it in the words so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, I set up the target with my words at the beginning, and because of that, I hit the bullseye every time, all the time. No exceptions. It's the way I roll. It's the way I do business. It's the way I bring about designs. And a lot of designers don't even come close to that. Number 7, represents client, architecture, and interior design. The job of the designer is to be the vital liaison between the client as well as the actual architecture and the interior, including the chosen or assigned architect and builder, and to facilitate connecting all of them into a cohesive team so that the interests of all will be realized, especially the client, just as if it were a majestic symphony, immensely enjoyed by all, which means the band is tight, so to speak. The band plays together well. The band has one objective in mind, and that is to facilitate and bring about a magnificent performance and presentation. Number 8, candid friend. A good designer, a great designer, must be candid, must be willing to fight any notion that doesn't lead to a client-centered interior design solution. He must be willing and able to tell the client if an idea is with merit or without merit, and whether it will bring about the desired look and ambiance or not, so that the client gets what they need and desire as well as their dream being fulfilled. Number 9, organizer. A great designer is a good organizer. He must be. He has to find furniture, furnishings, fabrics, trim, tradespeople, and all the other myriad of things that the interior design business entails. His job is to oversee the design process, the tradesmen, as well as the installations, while being a worker in the process as well, in order to deliver the expected results of the projected vision of the interior design. His job is very much like an orchestra conductor. A great designer is acutely aware of who should be involved in the process of producing a superior interior design installation, and just when critical tasks must be completed. Knowing this, he will not let you forget. Number 10, editor. Finally, a great designer is not only the master of design, but of redesign if necessary. But with a master designer, this rarely happens. The master designer is always an editor and always willing to redesign so long as it will enhance the achievement of one critical objective: to deliver the best, most tailored, client-centered interior design possible. If the designer can be shown that what is suggested will help reach this goal, then he is entirely willing to make changes. A rigid defensiveness on behalf of what he's designed is not part of the makeup of the experienced designer, though on behalf of an essential client-centered idea, he is and will be necessarily tenacious. And this is important for a person who's really good at what they do. They know it, and I'm probably the most critical of my own work. I edit my own work. I make sure that it matches up, it levels up. It is part of being orchestrated with the concept, with the idea, with the whole presentation. This applies to not only the look, but also the ambiance that should be attached to it. Every design should have not only a look, but the right ambiance to go with it. I mean, if you have just a look only, what do you have? You just have a look. It's just like a person. They can look great, but that doesn't mean they have a great personality. So the ambiance is kind of like an inner character. So you've got to look great on the outside and you've got to be great on the inside. Very important. But I will say that a designer as an editor, and speaking for myself, I'm editing all the way through the project. So you're always looking at things and balancing this against that and the transition from here to here and the overall feeling, just like when you're playing music or if you're a musician, you're looking for all these nuances in the music, the chord changes, the notes, the transitions, the bridge, the chorus, the hook, all that kind of stuff is very important. So it's just like music. You're creating a 3D walk-in musical orchestrated environment. That's what it's all about. And it must move you emotionally, just like music does. So it can't be just eye candy. It just can't be just for the eyes. It's got to be for the heart, the soul, the mind, the intellect. It's got to be hitting on all those, so to speak, and affecting those to the positive. That's what good design is all about. So a lot of other designs and designers fall way short of that. And yet people think, oh, they're fantastic. Well, not if you're using the right measuring stick. Everything can look straight until you put a straight edge on it. And then you find out, hey, that's not as straight as I thought it was. A little bit wavy, a little bit crooked, a little bit. I don't mean crooked in a bad sense, but that's why carpenters use straight edges, levels, plumb bobs, make sure everything's built the way it should be. So those are some great analogies to apply to this. So finally, when you work with a great designer, you're paying for his skill, talent, knowledge, wisdom, years of experience, as well as the actual time he spends on your project. There is always value to working with a great designer who really knows his business. Certainly, he'll know the realities and what must be done and how long it takes, as well as know that you may not have the requisite experience in these important realities. Remember, the clearer you are about what you want, the easier it will be to find the right designer and to work with him or her. So in summary, The 10 pivotal roles of a great designer are: number 1, strategist; number 2, tactician; number 3, conceptualizer; number 4, master of timing; number 5, damage control specialist; number 6, wordsmith; number 7, represents client architecture and interior design; number 8, candid friend; number 9, organizer; number 10, editor. And there you have it, the 10 pivotal elements, the 10 pivotal roles of a great interior designer. All right. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the Interior Design Beat podcast. It's the podcast that's the heartbeat of interior design podcasts. Oh yes, when your interior design is done well, it will delight your eyes, satisfy your soul, and engage your intellect. Just remember, your environment's distinguished look and feel, plus the magic of ambiance, is what soon sets you and your home apart from any other space you've ever enjoyed. This is your host, Stephen C. Adamko, and all of my designs are personally tailored to you. The end result is an orchestration of your desired look and ambiance that you'll see, feel, understand, and experience firsthand. I also work in a broad range and spectrum of residential and commercial interior design, as well as furniture and lighting design. My services also include seminars, webinars, teleseminars, and workshops. I know you'll want to get involved with these right away, so call me today, toll free at 866-239-6520. All right, folks, thanks for being here. Have a wonderful day.